Hi everybody and welcome back. Today, if you couldn't tell, we're talking MCAT resources. So I'm going to go through and talk about all the main MCAT resources. I have used literally all of them. This is my third time studying for my MCAT and my second time taking it. So I have read all of the things, I have talked to all of the high performing people, and these are all the tips that I have gathered along the way that I'm going to share with you all. So I'm going to start by talking about the sort of like big three test prep companies. So personally, I don't think that you need to do an actual class and pay thousands of dollars for an actual class unless you really, really need the structure of someone telling you what to do when. But you still need the content and the books. So starting with Princeton Review. So you can even kind of tell just based on the height of these that the Princeton Review books are a lot more detailed and sometimes might be more detailed than they necessarily need to be, but I do think that they're great to look for a specific piece of content, a specific idea, and be able to read up on it to your heart's content. And if you're the kind of person who likes to have all those details to feel comfortable, then that's definitely great for you and a good way to go. So I don't have the full set of Kaplan books anymore, I sold them, but I do have this MCAT quick sheets, which you can find this for free online. If you just search like Kaplan MCAT quick sheets, it'll come up. It's like a 22-page PDF. And basically it has all of the high yield content ideas that you'll need to know in this quick little like formula sheet almost, but it's not just formulas, it's a whole bunch of stuff. So this must have. Personally, I think it's a must have. And so the actual Kaplan books themselves, I think, fall somewhere in the middle between Princeton Review and Exam Crackers. So Exam Crackers focuses a lot more on test taking strategy and a lot less on content. So I think that the Exam Crackers CARS book is golden because CARS, that's what you need, is that test taking strategy. So I honestly don't know if you can buy the books separately or if you have to buy them in a pack, but if you can buy them separately, definitely go for the Exam Cracker CARS book. I'm almost certain you can buy them separately. And then if you wanted to focus more on detailed content review, then maybe some Princeton Review books to supplement that. And then the other thing that is a must-have is AAMC resources. So this is the official guidebook, and I believe nowadays they just have this virtually, but back a few years ago when I took my MCAT for the first time, they still sent the actual physical books. So not only does this have all of the logistics that you'll need to know about the MCAT in it, but it also has, I believe, 120 extra questions. And so you can basically take that as like a half exam almost, to sort of see where you're at. And again, those questions are online if you get the AAMC resource bundle, and those are the other sort of must have. It kind of all goes together. I think that all of the AAMC resources are must have, especially those full-length exams. They have 4 of them now. I think that back the first time I took my MCAT, they only had 2 because the test was still relatively new. New as in the 2015 version was new. The MCAT itself has obviously been around for a long time. But so they have 4 practice exams. The AAMC are the people who write the exam. So they are going to be the ones that have the most accurate, correct, useful, high yield information, because those practice tests are going to look the most like the actual test than any of the practice tests that you get with any of these third-party type practice tests, just because they wrote the exam. They're going to write the exam that you take on test day, and so why not take a test that's written by the same people for your practice to have the best idea of how you're going to do on test day. That being said, if you feel like you need more than 4 full-length practice tests, I would just save all of those AAMC ones for the very end, closest to your actual test date. So now let's talk about some other digital resources. So I have recently discovered, and am so pleased and excited to share this with you all. I have recently discovered Pixorize, which is basically, if you've heard of Sketchy for step 1 for when you're in med school, this is Sketchy, but for the MCAT. And they do also have USMLE things for step 1, but at this stage, you're at the MCAT. So they have all of these different visual mnemonics. And so what that means is there will be a picture with a bunch of different little details. Let's just pick one really quick. We'll go with endoderm derivatives. And so basically they have a video and it has this really detailed picture in it, and all of the little pieces of the picture mean something else and sort of signal to you different things. So for example, they may have, just different things that sound similar to what you're supposed to remember. It's great for all of those memorization heavy type content things. So they have videos for biology and biochem, and then also for psych-soc. Psych-soc is a super memorization heavy section of the MCAT. And so, for example, in psych-soc, there's, the different stages of moral development, Kohlberg. And so, they have the first one, and it's a little girl eating cookie dough out of the bowl when she's cooking with her mom, and her mom's scolding her. And so that's supposed to help you remember, little children, they're in the stage of moral development where they do things to avoid getting punished, to remind you the mom's there punishing her, etc., etc. So it's kind of just a bunch of different things like that, but they cover, like I said, biology and biochem topics from metabolism, cell division, endocrine hormones, mechanoreceptors, protein structures, renal, and amino acids. I mean, the list just goes on. I'm just scrolling in here, and all those things that you have to remember, glycolysis, the Krebs cycle, all the renal hormones, all of that kind of stuff, it's all in here in Pixar Eyes. And so I think it's a super great resource. I have always wished that there was a Sketchy for MCAT, and now there's Pixar Eyes, and it's for MCAT and it's for USMLE step 1. So the other super exciting part of this is that I have got a code for you all to get Pixar Eyes, to get a Pixar Eyes MCAT account for 50% off. That's 50% off, half off all of access to Pixar Eyes MCAT content. And so this will be super, super helpful. This code goes until June, I believe. So even if you're taking your MCAT later in the year, you can still utilize this code. And my code is Moments in Med, all caps and all together, no spaces. I'll put it down in the description box as well with a link to Pixorize's website. But honestly, y'all, this is such a, it's a new resource, and I'm super excited about it. It has really helped me now that I've been able to implement it into my studying. And the last virtual resource that I'm going to talk about is Khan Academy, and it is a completely free resource. They have video lectures basically where they go through and describe all the different concepts that you would need to know for the MCAT. They have an entire MCAT section. You have to hunt for it a little bit because they are discontinuing it later this year, I think around September-ish, towards the end of this year. So if you're taking your MCAT this year, definitely be sure to like hop on that. Watch as many of those Khan Academy videos as you can or feel like you need to. There's a lot of them. They do also have practice questions and practice passages. They actually partnered with the AAMC for this, so their information is pretty good, pretty accurate as far as what you'll see on the MCAT. So they are another great resource, especially a free one. And the other thing that's Khan Academy related is if you search for Khan Academy, like MCAT, Psychosis, or like behavioral health, something 300 page, there will be this 300-page document that comes up. You can find it for free, and it will come up as a PDF, and it has literally every term that you will need to know for the Psychosis section of the MCAT. And like I said before, that's a super high memorization section, so reading through that I know it's 300 pages, it's a lot to read through, but sort of just even skimming through that and sort of making sure that you understand most of those concepts are going to put you in a really, really great place for that Psychosis section of the MCAT. So that is basically my review of the most common MCAT resources out there. So just to recap, there is number one, those AAMC resources, the full-length tests, the official guide, and everything in between, question banks, all of that. Next is a free resource from Kaplan. You can search for this 20-something page quick sheets that has all the high yield information on it. And then of course, Pixar Eyes, which we just got done talking about, is going to have all that great visual mnemonics for you for hard to memorize sections and hard to memorize concepts in biochem, and psych-soc. And then for content review, if you want content heavy, I'll recommend the Princeton Review books and the Exam Cracker Cars book. So that is the general summary takeaway. Don't forget that Khan Academy before it expires this year, and good luck studying. You're gonna do great. We're all gonna do great, and happy studying. I'll see you all next week.